All right, and we're back once again. It is the Pop Culture Cosmos. Thanks for staying with us. It's Gerald Glassford coming right at you. But it is a great time indeed for the Walking Dead fans because there is a lot to talk about, a lot of news going on. Fear the Walking Dead is coming around the corner again for another season. The Walking Dead finished off its season and is looking forward to returning back again in the fall. But for all the latest news and information, if you want to keep up to date year round on what's going on with everything at The Walking Dead, you got to go to two places that I know of, and the two best places indeed are the Walking Dead fan base and Talking the Dead 18 plus. And I'm going to talk to you, and you know who I've got here right here. She is the head of both those groups. It's my good friend Daphne Matthew, and Daphne, it's just great to have you back on. Daphne, you there?
It's great to be back again. It's been a while. It's been a while. I'll be honest.
It has been. It's been too long. You and I.
I'm having some
I
feedback
know. I'm
issues
telling
with
you,
you.
it's the wonders of the internet here, and I'll tell you what. It's maybe this, like you said, this funky weather we've been having. But I first off, I know you did go see Avengers Endgame. I know you wanted to talk about it the last time we spoke. So, just quick thoughts on Avengers Endgame before we go ahead and move on to The Walking Dead.
Okay, well, the Avengers Endgame, it actually, we talked about this. You asked my opinion before I
Well, no,
saw
I
it,
mean, how
and
did
I
you?
said
Did,
that it was no, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. So basically, it pretty much came to pass what I said in our last time we talked. The Avengers started with Tony Stark, and it ended with Tony Stark because the way they killed Thanos was that Tony Stark literally sacrificed himself. When he put the glove on, he knew that the power within the glove itself would probably kill him, and it did. So I mean, it's sad that it had to go that way, but it was appropriate because it all started with him. And for it to be anyone else, it probably wouldn't have had the same feeling on the overall audience. I mean, the only thing I was disappointed with that entire movie was that they hyped up Captain Marvel to be such a big part of the movie, and he really was in two scenes. Okay, she saved Tony Stark, and she came in during the battle against Thanos, and pretty much like everybody else got her butt kicked. So it was kind of interesting to see that, there was not one individual Avenger that could defeat Thanos without the rest of them. And like I said, it was bittersweet the way it ended. I mean, Captain America stopped being Captain America, and if you noticed, you saw him turn into an old man. And Tony Stark died. So I thought it was fitting. I thought it was appropriate, and I really did enjoy. But you gotta get what you get. So that's about it on the Avengers.
That's true indeed. It is the Avengers Endgame, which has done so well. It's still a little bit over $100 million away from trying to go ahead and reach the top of the mountain when it comes to all time at the box office. Will it do so? We're gonna have to wait and see. It's inching ever so close, but we'll have to check it out here coming maybe in the coming weeks to see if it actually gets into that number one position all time. It is Avengers Endgame. But we're here talking The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead. And I'll start off with all the great things that are going on with The Walking Dead, the latest news and information. And I'm going to lean into you as far as The Walking Dead is concerned, Daphne. What is going on as far as behind the scenes, or actually, what is going on with the latest info and intel when it comes to The Walking Dead? Have I still got you there? Are you still there? Daphne, are you with me? Oh, still. Sorry for all the technical difficulties, folks. We do sincerely apologize. Are you there? And she's back. Are you back?
I'm here.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I'm back.
No worries.
I Unfortunately, for some reason, everything has been crapping out on me today. Had family over and the internet kept going, fix some of that, and when they left that, it would fix. So there's not too many devices hogging the internet, but it's just crappy today. So
Uh,
we talked about the Avengers.
yes, yes. And now
Yeah.
moving on to The Walking Dead. What is the latest intel that you have concerning The Walking Dead?
Okay. Well, they started filming season 10. I know that much because they always start the end of April, early May. Norman Reedus has been releasing. If you go to his um, Twitter account, you'll see them. He has been releasing pictures from the set while they've been filming. I don't know. I don't know what he's been releasing, but I know he's been releasing a lot of pictures. Well, I know for a fact that Abraham Michael Kulitz will be filming and directing another episode in season 10. Unfortunately, his show, The Kids Are All Right, did get canceled. So, and I thought that was actually a good show. So he doesn't have any more conflicts right now. Now, the interesting thing that I've heard recently about The Walking Dead pertains to Maggie. It was announced over a week ago that her show Whiskey Cavalier was canceled by ABC. There is an article that was released by the Undead Walking that came out today that the show may not be canceled after all. I know they were shopping other networks for it to be picked up, but the Undead Walking has confirmed that it's a possibility that the show is not fully dead yet. And speaking of Maggie, I know a lot of people are happy that she is returning to the show. And the assumption a lot of people have is that she's coming back full time. It was never planned for Lauren Cohan to come back to The Walking Dead full time after the big contract dispute 2 seasons ago. Actually, going to, I guess, address that conflict between her and Michonne before Michonne exits the show. But Angela Kang has already said that Lauren Cohan our Maggie will not be returning to the show in a full-time capacity during season 10. So we'll see what goes on with that. Now, here's the big thing from the comic side of the Walking Dead comics, for those who read the comics. Next week, it's either the first, this upcoming week or the following week in June, there is a huge comic coming out. And the reason why it's huge is because if you read Comic 189, Rick was mortally wounded. And the belief is that Robert Kirkman, and Robert Kirk, this is no surprise to anybody who reads the comics, because Robert Kirkman has said time and time again that no one is safe. And since he has full control of what happens in the comics, he can do whatever he wants. Forget about the show. He hasn't been part of anything going on with the show since season 5. They're actually in litigation right now, big time, over profits. That's a whole different story that would take up too much time, and I don't want to get
Oh yeah, that would
into
be
it.
actually a that would actually be a 3-hour
But
episode.
as far as the comics go, it is rumored and 99.99% confirmed. Right. It's been 99.99% confirmed that Rick Grimes is going to die in the comics, in the one that's released within the next 2 weeks. It's going to be bigger than any of the current comic volumes, and this is when we will see Rick Grimes die. And the twist to it is that he's already injured. It will be Call that puts him down. So there you have it, Deadheads. We're about to witness the written version of Rick Grimes' death in the comics. Negan is back. Negan had left the comics for a couple of months. They wrote him out for a couple of months. Negan is back. Negan had nothing to do with what happened with Rick, by the way. But the rumor, I'm not going to say rumor anymore, but the story is that Rick is about to die in the comics. And this is where Carl's story, or we should say journey, as becoming a leader within the Walking Dead will start. Now, mind you, Paul is a lot younger in the comics than he was on the show. Carl is maybe a preteen at this stage in the comics, because the comics actually is more consistent with the time in the comics. It's been a little bit over 3 years since Rick Grimes woke up in the comics. Now, unfortunately, from a show perspective, it's been 8 years, and that's part of the reason why they killed off Chandler Riggs, because they felt he was getting too old. And the other thing was that there was some issue with his acting abilities. Shame on them, because they knew he was a young lad when he started the show. So I don't know what's going to happen, but the rumor is that Rick Grimes is about to die, which is going to be even harder to read than when Andrea was killed off 21 comics ago. So there you have it. That's the Walking Dead news so far. As far as anything coming out of Spoiler Land in regards to season 10, it's going to be a lot more of the Whisperers. Season 10 is going to be very big on the Whisperers. We're going to see more of Negan. Thank you, Jeffrey Dean Morgan will be more of a presence in season 10. Michonne will be exiting after a limited number of episodes. They haven't said how many. They haven't said when. And the rumor is, and I'm going to say it's a rumor because there's a lot of stuff out there saying that she will go in of Rick and they appear in movies together, but one of the sources that actually put that rumor out there has backpedaled and said that it was their high hopes or wishes for what they wanted to see. So they confirmed that Michonne will appear in any of the TW Walking Dead related movies. Um, they may kill her off. They could kill her off. I mean, it would be heartbreaking, but and and I'm going to be honest, there is nothing out there about the movies right now, other than that one is planned to be released next year. So there hasn't been any leaks about what the storyline will be, except for I heard sort of cute, the Black him Jacob. There we go. Are you still here?
I could piece together a little bit about what you said when it comes to The Walking Dead, and I truly appreciate your input and intel on what's coming up with The Walking Dead. I know Fear the Walking Dead is coming up here in just a bit. Yes, it is coming up here. It is coming up here this. Excuse me. It is coming up here next weekend. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on.
Fear the Walking Dead will premiere next week.
Yes, that's correct. And I know you've hinted, and as far as a major death that could possibly on the way, could possibly be on the way. And if that's the case, I know for fans of Fear the Walking Dead, including myself, who have appreciated this individual's fine work, if this happens, I'm just going to tell you right now, that's a big turnoff to me. And that will be a big turnoff to a lot of other fans as well.
Okay, so what we're referring to, and I'll say we because we've talked about it, is that it's been rumored and pretty much confirmed that this will be Lenny James, Morgan Jones' last season on Fear the Walking Dead. And it's now actually being rumored that he will die on the show. He's not going to back in season 8 when it was hinted that perhaps Rick may die soon. That there was an article Lenny James was interviewed in, and he said clearly in the interview that Morgan will never know what happened with Rick. So it kind of hinted at that, Morgan was never going to make it back to Alexandria, even in season 4 of Fear the Walking Dead. And that did come to pass because he actually he actually talked the group into going back to Alexandria. And after he encountered that crazy woman, he decided that he was not going, after the incident with the he actually changed his mind and decided he was not going to go back to Alexandria, that they were going to do what that lady was doing, but without killing. He basically had hinted at since last year that he would never go back to Alexandria and he will never know about Rick's fate. So now it's coming out that, well, I think everybody has heard that Troy, one of the crazy sons of that guy on the farm, is actually coming back in season 5. How they're going to pull that off, I have no idea. But fan favorite Daniel was coming back. And I am absolutely overjoyed because rumor was that they were never going to bring him back, but Daniel will be back. And then another TWD character is crossing over, and that is going to be Dwight. Now, my belief about Dwight's appearance on Fear the Walking Dead is that Dwight and not Morgan will be the one that's actually going to take the group back to Alexandria or wherever the group ends up, because in season 10 on The Walking Dead, the group will actually probably encounter the Commonwealth. So if they end up at the Commonwealth in season 10, that's probably where Dwight is going to lead the group. And if you read the comics, you know what happened to Dwight a couple of episodes ago. So I'm not even going to go into that. But I think Dwight will actually be the one that takes the mantle and takes the group, or causes the two shows to finally combine in season. They're filming season 10 now, so maybe we'll see it at the end of season 10, but definitely 11, because I have a strong fear that the show will be ending with season 12, and I stand by it. And I'm not saying the Walking Dead universe itself is going to end in 2 years. The, I'll say the flagship show will. They have already plans in place for a spinoff with Judith. They have a spinoff in place with them looking at the zombie apocalypse from the standpoint of another community in another, either another country or another part of the United States. I mean, where it will be a woman's perspective of the zombie apocalypse, as opposed to all the Fear the Walking Dead and The Walking Dead, where the main characters are always male. They're doing it from a woman's point of view. So there are 3 shows in the pipe. They're trying to do the Star Trek route where they have all these spinoffs. It could work. Probably, if they do it wisely, it will work, because the main show, and me being one of the biggest fans out there, will be honest, has run its course. They've lost too many of the main characters through writing changes, storyline changes, killing off characters, and then characters deciding to leave. They've lost too much of the main character to maintain the show past 2 more seasons. So I'm sorry to say, I see the flagship show ending in season 12. And then, they're already planning to have the one of the spinoffs come out in early 2020. So that would be actually probably right after season 10 ends. So we'll see what happens. But I'm going to lay to rest one last TWD Walking Dead rumor, and I think that'll be it for us for today. About Rick Grimes. A lot of people are asking who's the voice on the phone. Is that Rick? Will Rick be returning to? Rick is going to return to The Walking Dead. The group is going to go find him. Let's put that all to rest. Last July, Andrew Lincoln clearly, firmly stated that outside of his contractual obligation to the movies, the 3 movies he's contracted to do, that he is done with the show. He had a little bit of, I'll say, remorse after seeing what happened with season 9 with the Whisperers, and how well the writing has improved, except for the finale, because the finale sucked. With Angela Kane, and how they did the introduction with the Whisperers, and the Spike episode. That's cool. He had a little remorse. He said maybe he left the show too early, but he is steadfast in his statement he made last July at San Diego Comic Con Con that he is done with The Walking Dead. He will not be returning to the show in any way, shape, or form, but he will be directing the episode in season 10. So let's put that to rest. Let's stop with he'll be back actor. He was acting before The Walking Dead, and he will continue to be the outstanding actor that he is. So there you have it, Jerry.
There I have it indeed. Once again, it is Daphne Matthew from Talking the Dead 18 plus and also the Walking Dead fan base. You got to catch her awesome groups today on Facebook. You join up and you're going to be you're going to be mixing it up with thousands and thousands of awesome Talking Dead the Walking Dead fans out there. Once again, it is Talking the Dead 18 plus and also the Walking Dead fan base on Facebook. Daphne, you've been such a great resource of information on The Walking Dead. I know we've had a little bit of issues today trying to connect and all that, but I'll tell you what. Hopefully, when we can get things a little bit better off, you can come back again on the show to update us on what's going on with everything that you like in pop culture and also everything up on The Walking Dead as well.
Well, there's two things that are coming to mind we can talk about. Dark Phoenix. You know that movie's coming out. That's the spinoff of Jean Grey's story. That's definitely coming out in June 4th. I think that's next week. It's coming out. And then we could always talk about Fear the Walking Dead. I mean, I am not a huge fan of the show because I felt that what they had built with the show from season one, they kind of like went so far off base. And I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way, that they haven't actually recaptured what they presented in the beginning. But we could talk about the first episode and see, what the reaction is to how people feel about, what's going on with Fear. If you check out either one of the groups that Jerry has mentioned, every Sunday when we have Fear the Walking Dead live episodes, not repeats, we have live discussions where people can come in and they can talk about the show, and we have a whole lot of fun. We also do it throughout the entire season of The Walking Dead. So everybody's welcome to come into the chats and say hello and, talk about the show. And for you comic fans, one of our members, and you know her, Jerry, Karen, actually does the comics every Wednesday. We just finished. Oh, we didn't finish yet, but we're up to the part where the governor invades the prison for the first time. So if you're around, you can come in, join the group, sit back, relax, and have some fun with us, because we're always doing something crazy up in those groups. And fun too. I mean, we're not totally insane people. We have a lot of fun. We have trivia. I give away great prizes. I do. I give away some awesome stuff. Somebody actually won last year an authentic autograph, Lucille, signed by Jeffrey Dean Morgan. So, we have a lot of fun, but you have to work for these things. This is not something I just give away lightly and say, okay, here, you answer 10 questions correct, you have a prize. No. If you're interested, check it out. We'll be starting up again with the trivia in August because I need a summer break. And we'll be talking about stuff on the show. When I get tidbits, I will let Jerry know, and I'll come on and tell you about it. I'm sure there'll be stuff coming out very soon about season 10. And we'll just go from there.
That we will, because in a couple weeks, like you said, Dark Phoenix opens in 2 weeks. Also, as well, you've got Fear the Walking Dead that also will be coming out as well. So we'll talk about the early returns on that show, plus Dark Phoenix. We'll see if it is a dead film walking in its sense, because of the fact that it's not going to associate itself with what's coming up in the future and as part of as part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So we'll actually see if it's something that's going to end up this part of the X-Men life on a high note, or is it going to be something that was just like, okay, we know we're going to Disney, we might as well just go ahead and pack it in. But we'll see how that
Well,
goes.
I think Dark Phoenix, they've been planning for a couple of years now, but they didn't want her story to ride the coattails of Wolverine. So now that it's been about 3 years since they've put Wolverine to bed, they wanted to bring her story out before another Young Avengers movie came out, because they didn't want the two to collide. But like you said, we'll see. Is it just something they threw out there, or to fill some time to give people something to look at, or are they planning to go somewhere with her storyline? Because from what I've seen from the previews, not the Avengers, the X Men are actively involved in her movie, so it's not like she's totally alone in this movie. It's just a story about her. So we'll see, but we'll see in 2 weeks, right?
We will see in 2 weeks. And I'm going to tell you right now, it is going to be the Deadpool way of thinking. Deadpool, as of this point in time,
Deadpool.
is, well, put it this way. Deadpool has done $700 million worldwide in both of its attempts at the box office, which pretty much tells Disney they had to go ahead and continue that arc. So it'll be interesting to see where that ends up as far as how Deadpool 3 or Deadpool himself is going to be integrated into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But there is going to be a future from emanating from those first two films that were at Fox. As far as X-Men goes, if it gets the same returns as X-Men Apocalypse, they're just going to wipe the slate clean and go from there and just start anew and integrate
Probably.
them. Yeah, and integrate them within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. If it does become a hit again, like it did originally in the first couple X-Men, or even with the brief upstart and brief climb back up with X-Men Days of Futures Past, you will see a revival then if that's the case. But if it does the numbers of X-Men Apocalypse, you can pretty much tell that Kevin Feige's got a whiteboard up at Marvel, just like just
Yep,
erasing the whole thing when it comes to the X-Men,
that is true.
and he'll be able to start his own master plan in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. All right, Daphne, I'll tell you what, it's always great
Yes.
talking to you. I will talk to you here in a couple weeks to hear your thoughts on Dark Phoenix and Fear the Walking Dead. They better not kill off Morgan. I'm going to tell you right now. If they do, Rick Grimes.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now. I have a feeling that there will not be a season 6 of Fear. That's just my opinion.
I have a tendency to agree with you, because if they kill off, they killed off Rick Grimes. They moved Rick Grimes. If they bring Dwight over like that they are to Fear the Walking Dead, and they only really want one emanating character that has originated from The Walking Dead, and they do kill off Lenny James, that to me is just very disheartening. As someone who has followed and tracked both shows, and as someone who will like to go ahead and see Fear the Walking Dead try to get out of the shadow of The Walking Dead, but knows, quite frankly, that it never will. I do agree with you that if they if they get rid of Morgan, that will probably be the sign to me that I think a lot of people will be tuning out, and that it will indeed be time to put Fear the Walking Dead to rest.
It's been time to do that for a couple of seasons now, but they're trying. There is a very unfortunate it's unfortunate underlying reason why they sent Dwight to Fear. Real quick, in season 8, the stuntman died during practicing a stunt with Austin Emilio. Well, they're in litigation right now with the family and his fiance, and one of the stipulations are they decided not to have him on The Walking Dead during that time where they were litigating. They're litigating the lawsuits. So instead of killing off Dwight, they decided to have him come back in Fear because I mean his appearance on Fear right now when it starts in 2 weeks is exactly at the time or somewhat after, but it's still before Rick's departure from The Walking Dead. So, of course, in Fear, I mean, like I said, I believe deep down in my heart that this is it for Fear. I mean, from other rumors I heard about they may be bringing Madison back, that they're bringing back Troy definitely, and he's dead. I mean, I'm like, they're too far reaching. They're reaching too far and have totally missed the point on this show. So I would say bye bye to Fear after this season. Wrap it up. Send Dwight on his way to take the remaining survivors to Alexandria, wherever the group ends up in season 10, and just cut your losses because, like you said, Fear has never been the blockbuster that they anticipated it would be with The Walking Dead. I mean, season 1, it actually did very well. But season 2, they let down a lot of people because I guess they didn't know what to do with the show. So they put them on a boat for a whole half of a season, which made no sense. They put them on Strand's yacht for a half a season. So you already lost your audience. So now what happened in this season with they had to kill off Nick because he wanted out the show. They decided to kill off Madison. So you've already lost your core audience. You've already lost your core characters. Morgan being there helps somewhat, but it's not enough anymore. So I'm going to be bold and I'm going to predict this is the last season of Fear.
I think
And that's it. That's it.
I think you're right on that. I think the time has come to end Fear the Walking Dead as well. All right, Daphne, it's always great talking to you. I will be talking to you here in a couple weeks. Looking forward to it.
Sure.
Once again, it is Daphne Matthew from Talking the Dead 18 Plus and the Walking Dead fan base. You got to catch her shows. You got to catch her great locations today on Facebook, the great, awesome groups that she's a part of. And to tell you what, if you are a Walking Dead fan, before Fear the Walking Dead says bye-bye and before the Walking Dead says bye-bye, you know what? Join them today and be a part of all the fun. Daphne, it's been great talking to you, and I thank you so much for being part of the pop culture cosmos.
Oh, always a pleasure. Have a good night. Enjoy Memorial Day.